Israel has called on Palestinians to evacuate parts of Rafah in the south, as well as two northern Gaza neighborhoods. More than 110,000 people in Rafah have already fled the area as fighting between Israeli troops and Palestinian militants intensifies there. Heavy clashes have left crucial aid crossings inaccessible. Meanwhile, Israel's military has also deployed forces north of Gaza City, where the army says Hamas fighters have reorganized. Residents of the city of Jabaliya were told to evacuate in preparation for renewed combat. Tania Krämer is following developments for us from Jerusalem, and she joins us now for more. Good to see you, Tania. So, are these renewed evacuation orders for civilians in Rafah a sign that Israel is indeed about to launch a major offensive in the area? And that's despite international calls not to do this.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the Israeli military still says it is a limited operation, but on Thursday, the Security Cabinet has actually green-lighted the expansion of this ground offensive. So we don't know, how far they will go right now, but we're seeing more evacuation orders now for the population there, still in eastern Rafah. But we've seen and we've talked to people in Rafah, and they're saying, many of those who are not in these specific areas, but also in other areas, they're fearing and they're very worried about, and they people who can leave. I mean, there's always those vulnerable people that cannot leave, they are leaving right now, and the numbers were given by the United Nations agencies working there on the ground, over 100,000. Others have put the number much higher of those people that are leaving. So this is eastern Rafah, and as you said, there are also evacuation orders for people, again, in northern Gaza, in Beit Lahia, which is in the northern part of Gaza City, and the town of Beit Hanun, which is in the northeast, potentially indicating that Hamas is regrouping there, although Israel has said it is there mostly under control. Now, what does it mean for the people on the ground? They have to leave in the southern parts now to an area either going further up north to Khan Yunis, where there's mostly rubble and ruins, but also they were asked to go to Al-Mawasi, which is on the shoreline, on the coastline of Gaza. But aid agencies have said, the area there is highly inadequate for so many people. It is without electricity, without, running water, a sewage system. And people have been displaced now many times over and over again. And all this is, of course, happening while the bombardment is going on. And also in this evacuation area, seeing this since Tuesday, is the Rafah crossing, which has been closed since, and agencies are warning that not enough aid is coming in anymore. Although Israel says some aid came in, but there's a dispute over how much aid is actually reaching people, because the south of Gaza was mainly where aid organizations were still working in the past months.
Well, Tania, in a separate development, the U.S. says Israel may have breached international law with American weapons in Gaza. Has there been an official reaction from Israel to these allegations?
No, we didn't see yet an official reaction to this, but it's very closely watched, because the report says that Israel's use of U.S. weapons is likely to be inconsistent with international law, but that it lacks, the evidence in specific cases. Now, human rights groups would argue that they have documented cases where the force being used is disproportionate, where they're more, in the light of so many civilian casualties. Now, Israel has rejected those accusations all along. It says it does enough to protect civilians, but this comes, of course, amid a deepening rift between the U.S. administration and Israel about the shipment of arms. And we have to see, how this Rafah operation now comes into play in this, because the U.S. has always said this is a red line for them if Israel goes further, deeper into Rafah. But, what will they do, and what will other countries do if Israel is expanding its ground offensive there?
That was DW's Tania Krämer reporting from Jerusalem. Tania, thank you so much.